Hey guys, it's Corey Alexander. Just wanted to say thank you for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button.
It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. The round, MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America, our fourth for 2022 from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at the famed Road America race circuit. Everybody, welcome to Supersport Race 2 coverage. And yes, the skies have opened up since last night. And the track is wet as we expect a rain race with full Dunlop rain tires. And welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. And Jason, we have had a strange weekend. We had high winds on Friday. We had great weather yesterday and now today.
Yeah, the riders have had to really adjust and get used to all these different conditions. The wind on Friday was really bad, probably 30-mile-an-hour gusts. And so the wind was howling around this place, and it was hitting you in different spots. I heard a lot of the riders talking about getting blown around on the straightaways. Yesterday we had a perfect day, and today, of course, now it's wet. So we kind of get those kind of seasons up here in Wisconsin every year we come. So it's going to make for some interesting tire choices because it has started to brighten up a little bit outside. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do with tires.
Let's take a look at race one highlights from yesterday because it certainly was entertaining. Jason?
Yeah, it's a great start from Tyler Scott. It was actually, for Herron, that wasn't the best start we've seen from him this year because he was getting rid of his tear-offs, but it didn't take long for him to get back going again. And we saw Benjamin Smith, Jason Farrell go down in turn one, and then we saw Herron go up underneath Ty Scott. These two broke away from everybody, but Ty Scott was just comfortable letting Herron lead the race. Mesa, we saw him continue to battle for podium positions along with Luke Power, and then we saw Mesa run off the track into the grass. He brought himself all the way back up there. You can see Kevin Olmedo in the mix as well as Lockoff, and these three we're going to have four. Actually, we're going to have a battle all the way down to the end until Rocco Landers decided to show up, and Rocco started closing the gap. And these five riders started to close the gap to the leaders. We see Luke Power, in his best result so far of the year, make a small mistake in turn 5. But look at the blue and yellow bike on the 97. Rocco Landers chipped away and chipped away. Now at the finish, Ty Scott was able to pull out of the draft of Josh Herron and win his first race at 16 years old. Tremendous effort from him.
Yeah, but Jason, as you look at it, now these conditions are different. And for a guy like Ty Scott, he's a rookie in Supersport. And how many rain laps does he have? Not very many at all.
Yeah, and the warm-up this morning was real short, so it is a matter of just experience. And I think that when you look at something like that, Josh Herron is a guy who we've seen win in the rain before. Very, very comfortable. He's going to be on a good bike to do that, I'm sure. And he's not going to be worried about the fact that he didn't go out and warm up this morning. He's going to be ready to go.
And that is the key. Josh Herron did not get warm-up in the rain today. All right, we're going to step away. We are a few minutes away from this race start. We got some great race action coming your way. Supersport Race 2.
The all-new 2022 Suzuki Hayabusa. The quickest, most advanced and aerodynamic Hayabusa ever. Engineered to explore the absolute limits of its potential and yours. Developed with Suzuki's intelligent ride system, giving unmatched control and rideability, and shaped to demolish drag and cut through wind with an unmistakable silhouette. The all-new Hayabusa is ready. Are you ready for it?
Speedville, as some of the fans make their way across that bridge. Should be a new bridge. They did a lot of improvements here. We heard Greg White talk about it and the new track surface. How nice is it going to be when they totally repave this place in October, Roger?
It's going to be awesome. I mean, everybody already loves this track enough, and they're just going to like it more. And they've even moved bridges here, and they've made a lot of updates to not only the facility but the track through the years, and making everything safer. And it's another reason why everybody loves coming. And not only is it a fun track, it's a really safe one.
Look at the championship point standings. A tie for second with Rocco Landers and Tyler Scott. And Tyler Scott had that one throwaway race when he literally threw that Suzuki GX 600 back then away at Atlanta. But he's really kind of picked it up as of late. He's still in this championship, and inevitably you're going to have one bad race during the season, whether it be mechanical or a mistake. So you got to keep fighting till the end.
Yeah, especially for a young kid like Tyler Scott, you got to expect some lumps along the way. There's going to be some mistakes learning, going from Junior Cup all the way to Supersport, racing all these different people. And he's just been really steady. Besides that one mistake, that first race of the year, we haven't seen another mistake. And yesterday, for him to lead and sit there, that's really hard to do when you're a young kid because you always want to be in front. But yesterday, he showed he has good race strategy.
I think our man there in that lawn chair might have partied a little too hard last night. It's time to fire up this party in Supersport.
Welcome back to Road America here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Let's take a look at this 4-mile road course built in 1955.
Yeah, big long front straightaway down there into turn 1. A little bit blind when you go to roll off the throttle and reach for the brakes for turn 1. And then we go down to turn 3. We want to get a good exit out of there for the hard braking area down into turn 5. Blind turn 6 up through the bridge. Hard left-hander into a fast right turn 7. Another hard braking zone into 8 into the famous carousel. Then we're going to end up down in Canada Corner, turn 12 there on your screen. Another very big hard braking spot. You got to decide at that point, if there's a lot of riders in the draft, do you want to lead? Do you want to be second or third as you head up the hill towards 14? Because that drive out of there is what's going to determine who wins this race when they get to the checkered flag there.
If you've joined us for Supersport before here in MotoAmerica, then you know that this is the time when bikes should be on the grid. But we're under a quick start procedure. Jason, explain that and explain why it can be really tricky today.
Well, we just found out it was going to be a quick start procedure, and how that can really change the strategy of the races are when these riders go out for their warm-up laps, especially on a day like today, when you kind of might have a choice of what tires do you want to go with. Do you want to take the risk on slicks? Do you want to go out on rains? Right now, from our commentating spot, it looks like it's getting a little bit better out there. However, you go out there and you sit on the grid for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you can make a decision of what you want to ride on. When these riders leave the pits now, they're going to go out for a warm-up lap, essentially a siding lap. They're going to have a crew member there waiting for them on their grid spot for just a brief second. There's not going to be a chance for generators and tire warmers and things like that. More importantly, there's not going to be a decision that you can make right then and there of if you want to go with a different tire choice. So you can see these riders here. They're going out on rains. It'll be interesting to see if anybody has taken the chance. Ty Scott is on rains. He's 36 points behind the race, the championship points leader. If I'm Josh Herrin, I might think about putting myself on the same tires as the guys that are closest to me in the championship, only because I don't want to put myself at a disadvantage. If Herrin was to choose to go out on slicks in this case, and it started to rain, that could be detrimental. However, if he decided to go on slicks and take a chance, he's not going to get a chance to come in and change his mind on that now. So you can still see some water coming up off the bikes. I do believe it'll dry out fairly quickly. There's Herrin there on the number 2. So I think right now that there's a lot of strategies that can be played. And you can see Rocco Landers there going down into turn 5 as well.
And Rocco Landers, who had a great day yesterday. Kind of the rise of Rocco Landers, as you can see stickers on the front of his.
Looks like a rain tire as well.
Yeah, I think at this point to go out on slicks, that'd be a tough ask.
Oh, and somebody, look at that. See, that's Lockoff there, who just got shot up out of the seat out of turn 5. So we'll have a look and see what tires he might be on. And you know, but the strategies, man, they really change now, because if you go out and you're on this siding lap and you think, I'm on the exact wrong tires that I need to be on, as we're going to look at some numbers here on Rocco Landers. 3 podiums in his last 4 starts, Greg. Second season in Supersport, as we know, dominant in the championships he was in prior. He's tied with Ty Scott right now, 36 points behind our championship leader, Josh Herrin. You can see they're 3-time MotoAmerica champion. So, but this is the kind of thing that can really shake up a championship, and really it's because of the quick start procedure, I think, that we could see that.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where you look at, you know, how Rocco Landers is doing, and you go, okay, well, that was dry stuff, but rain, we don't know. And what about this rider, Luke Power? He's out on the racetrack. He's having a good run. Let's welcome in Hannah Lopa. Hannah, how are you?
Good, Greg, and I can confirm it is still sprinkling a little bit out here. It seems like the rain might start to pick up, so we'll see how that plays out as far as tires goes. But when it comes to Luke Power, a name you've kind of heard sprinkled throughout our broadcast, he is new to the series this season, Australian 17-year-old. He's raced in the Asia Talent Cup, and I asked, what brings you to MotoAmerica? He said, I've seen how well Richie Escalante and SDK have done and how there's opportunity for growth here, and I want to be a part of that. So definitely keep an eye out for that number 68.
All right, thanks, Hannah. We'll step away. When we come back, we're going to get this race going. Don't go anywhere. It's Supersport from MotoAmerica.
Time to start eating better? If only it were that easy. Fresh and Lean thinks it is. We make the food you love with meals conveniently delivered to your door, made with fresh organic ingredients. So if you're looking to eat healthier, we got you. Meals ready to heat and eat in under 3 minutes. So wherever life takes you this year, you'll be ready. Now how easy is that? Fresh and Lean, feed your potential.
It's amazing. He's talking about motorcycle insurance, and people love it. And of course, they love the savings they're going to get with Geico, but it goes beyond that.
You deserve to save.
Heard that before.
You deserve to save.
I know.
I need you to hear me. You deserve to save.
I deserve to save.
I mean, he has a way of making you feel seen.
Bundle car and motorcycle insurance and save at geico.com.
Motion Pro. We make innovative tools and products that help you maintain and repair motorcycles, ATVs, and UTVs. Like the patented Pro-Fill Air Chuck, helping you manage tire air pressure on your motorcycle, ATV, or UTV. Easily adjust the Pro-Fill Air Chuck. Get past hot disc brake rotors with the pivoting angled head. Connect it with an airline. Or pair it with a Motion Pro digital tire pressure gauge. Reach for the Pro-Fill Air Chuck to manage your tires. Get yours at motionpro.com or visit Power Sports stores nationwide.
Well, you can see the mist coming off the tires off the track with it raining just a little bit. We're about to have green flag racing. If they get done with their sighting lap, Tyler Scott trying to go back-to-back on victory. Second, tied in second in points with Rocco Landers, both with 72, chasing Josh Herron. But Josh Herron should have the most experience of the group. Whether he likes racing in the rain, that'll be the question. You see both of those two are there, Tyler Scott and Josh Herron. What's your strategy if you're Josh Herron? Do you try and pull away like he said he should have yesterday and really hammer down the entire time, Roger?
Well, I think that's definitely his goal would be try to make a break. And you know, one thing, he didn't go out in the warm-up this morning, so this is his first look at the track being wet on the Ducati, so it's going to be different.
Again, not many opportunities for Josh Herron practicing on this in the wet, and it's going to be a guessing game. Who's going to guess the best? We're about to find out.
MotoAmerica Supersport coverage is sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series, and by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Let's take a look at this starting grid. This is how they qualified in the dry. Tyler Scott, 219 flat ahead of Herron.
And then Benjamin Smith, who we got to see a good race out of him today. A little unlucky yesterday. Mesa, Lockoff, and Almeida on row 2. Back to row 3, we got Landers, Nassini, and Luke Power. Farrell, Perez, and Saltis. LaRoche, Liam Grant, Alex Thurmiotis, Chad Lewin. Jones and Holt are going to be outside of row 6. And a little further on back, we got Erstein, Tropkop, and Zaragoza. And then we got Schweiger, Skalf, and Black all rounding out the field there in row number 8. So, you know, Greg, definitely does look a little brighter out there right now. It's 8-lap race. So it's really just you can see it might be getting a little bit drier in some of the uphills and downhills.
It might be, but
you can still see the water coming off of Herron's tire right there, even coming up the front straightaway.
And we're on the edge of this rain that's kind of coming through. It's to the north of here, but every now and then it just kind of dips its toe onto Road America and drops some more rain. So Josh Herron's coming to the grid, as we have fans that have toughed it out because it's been raining on and off since we got here, since really we woke up this morning, but we're ready to get things rolling. So Josh Herron, your championship points leader, has had 2 laps basically on those rain tires because he wasn't able to get in warm-up this morning. So we're ready to get this race underway. Supersport race number 2 from Road America, as riders clear or form up the grid. Normally in the dry, this race is scheduled for 11. In these conditions, because of lap times, 8 laps on the docket. Rocco Landers looking to have a good race. Revs are up. Lights off and we're rolling. Herron with a little bit of a bobble.
A little bit of a wheelie there, huh? And then we got Benjamin Smith and Mesa, and I'm trying, that looks like Luke Power trying to get himself there on the 68 up into 3rd. See Jason Farrell on the 85 on the outside. Him and Benjamin Smith are right behind each other again as they tiptoe into turn number 1. But it's the same 2 guys that led yesterday off the start. As you see Ty Scott and Josh Herron come down the hill. Farrell's going to try to slot himself into 3rd. Local rider here from Wisconsin who has probably got a lot of laps around here, I would think, in these kind of conditions. Oh, just a little further back, Diego Perez gets it lit up on the exit of turn 3.
Ty Scott, Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki leading the way down into turn number 5. Scott looking pretty comfortable on this GSXR 750 with Josh Herron in tow. Josh told me that because he didn't get the morning warm-up on those tires, on the rain tires, it might take him a lap or 2 to figure things out.
Ty Scott's in a little bit deep into turn 6, and look at Josh just rolling up the inside, trying to get by. He's going to make that work. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, he didn't do a warm-up, and he hasn't gone around here at all in any kind of wet conditions. So it won't take the number 2 very long. As you can see now, Farrell is trying to have a look at Ty Scott as they come into turn 8. So we got like a little 3-rider breakaway. Luke Power wants to try to go with them, but the battle even further back for 5th is quite a ways back already. And look, local rider Jason Farrell, number 85, looking to try to go around the outside of Ty Scott down through the carousel here.
The Jason Farrell, a lot of laps around Road America. He's got that 85 dialed in, that Kawasaki, and he's looking to try to take the lead. No, Josh Herron's got Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki Sam Lockoff in the pits. Something not going right for him. That is a shame for the South African.
I didn't see him tip off in the warm-up lap or the sighting lap, Greg. So did he tip off in the warm-up lap and we just didn't see him on the grid? These 3 guys, though, out front. Big blow for the championship there for Lockoff. But, I mean, Herron, like I said, Greg, he hasn't even done a lap yet today. This is his first lap all day. And Farrell looks to go up the inside of him on the exit of Canada corner there. Makes the pass, and then Herron fires right back up underneath him as they go into turn 13.
Jason Farrell's had success here at this level before. As we take a look at our Lucas Oil helicopter shot, Farrell trying to run up on the back of Herron. Herron has a look over his shoulder to see who's there. Onto the straightaway they go. Kawasaki's got a lot of legs, Jason. So it is Ducati versus Kawasaki. Jason Farrell out of Oshkosh on that ZX6R. But it's the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York entry on that Panigale V2. Herron just trying to get it all sorted out. Goes a little bit wide. Here comes Farrell up the inside. So Jason Farrell, the veteran, takes over the spot. So much confidence here in these conditions at Road America.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just local knowledge. And look what's going on now. It's allowed Herron and Farrell they've pushed the pace. They're kind of getting away. And you can see how that Ducati and the bikes kind of move around a little bit more on these rain tires, Greg. It's just, it's a whole different feel on these rain tires. They go down into turn 5 now. Herron has got himself back ahead of Jason Farrell. But look at, Farrell's got a lot of confidence on the exit of the turns right now. You can see him really pushing hard on the exits, and Luke Power just sitting there in 4th. What a great ride by Luke Power. But again, Herron's just still getting used to conditions. These guys, all three of the guys that you see behind Herron right now, all rode this morning. Jason Farrell gets a good run out of turn 7. He's going to look up the inside in turn 8. Herron's not going to have that just right now.
Josh Herron definitely wants to win as he goes wide, gets out over that paint. Little drama there, so Herron's going to lose some time. But here's the thing, if you think long-term, Jay, in the championship, Jason Farrell's not in this championship at all.
No, he's not part of it at all. So, you know, for Farrell, he is just going to be able to go for it and do the best he can. And he's got tons of experience, obviously. And
left part of the screen, let's take a look at Ty Scott on that Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki. Oh, that one's a little sideways, so Scott with a nice save. That cost him a bit of time earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, Herron right now, I mean, Farrell's opening up a nice little gap here, a really nice gap for Farrell. And, you know, track knowledge does come into play with these kind of conditions, because if you're up here doing any kind of CCS racing or things, and I know Farrell just gets a little bit shot up out of the seat, but boy, Greg, he's opened up 1.5 second lead or at least now as he comes up into the turn 13 area.
Jason, you and I off camera have talked about this all day. With these conditions here at Road America, it's such a huge opportunity for any MotoAmerica competitor, especially locals, to really get their confidence and understand where the standing water is, where the grip is.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what we talk about it. I mean, if you talk about a dry racetrack, it doesn't really matter at this level in terms of that knowledge, but in these particular conditions, it's a huge advantage. And we know that Jason Farrell, who's been in the top 10 comfortably all weekend, even in the dry, doing a great job now in these conditions. Here's the pass that got him out front, Jay.
Herron just didn't have the confidence to tip it in from wherever he started that tip-in point, and he ran it a little bit wide, got out over that white line, and decided better than to turn the bike in too quickly. As you can see here, Farrell with the quickest lap of the race, 2:37.7 for Farrell, but look at Luke Power there, 2:39.8. Kind of keeping those second, third place guys in his sights. Sounds like Jason almost was running out of gearing there as he gets down there and braking area for turn 5. There's a good look at Luke Power, number 68 on that GSXR 750 as well. New bike for him this weekend. Guy really caught my eye at the Daytona 200. Never came to Daytona before, 17 years old. Amazing work from him. Hannah, what do you got on Luke?
Yeah, when I caught up with him earlier, we were talking about that. He said every single track that he goes to is a new track for him, and he's trying to just kind of learn as he goes. He did do some preseason testing at Phillip Island, and he said it was just pouring rain, so he learned a lot there, and it's definitely been really helpful to prepare him for this challenge today.
Yeah, 17-year-old, Hannah mentioned competing in the Asia Talent Cup. I'm sure there were opportunities in that series to ride in the rain as well. And it's not just the knowledge that you gain in the rain, Jason. In these conditions, it's not raining per se, but we talk about racing in the rain. But in these conditions, this track is wet. They're on full Dunlop rain tires. Normally in this class, we're on slick tires. But it's about the confidence that you get in feeling the motorcycle and being able to understand what it does in these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just every lap is a little bit more knowledge. You're seeing the track change, and man, I can't tell how exciting it's got to be for this guy right now. Out front, Jason Farrell, obviously, probably has a lot of friends and family here. And, you know, to be leading a race like this, and, you know, there comes a point where you have to sit there and almost think to yourself, is this really happening right now? And probably a lot of different things going through his head. He's going to see the halfway flags when he comes by. Going to have a good look at that pit board to see what it is. And, I mean, Greg, it was almost 2 seconds the last lap through for Jason Farrell. So I'm looking out the window now to see if I can see where his pit board is, just to see what kind of number they're going to give him as he gets ready to come up this hill. And he's 4 laps away now, Greg, halfway home. To it be for him a pretty historic day, I think. And he comes across the line now, and I see his board, and it says, it looks like, I can't see it actually. So, but he's got 3.4 seconds, Greg. 2:37.2 again for this guy. 2:38 for the people behind him.
So Jason Farrell in the Farrell Performance Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, leading the way, 3.4 seconds over Josh Herron. On the number 2, that's the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York machine. And then you have Tyler Scott, number 70.
Luke Power is going to be in a position here at the end of this straightaway to go past Ty Scott. You can see he got a better drive out of turn 3. He's going to pop out the draft probably on the left side of Ty Scott, and that's exactly what he's doing. So Luke Power is going to try to challenge for this third spot. It looked like he was going to go down the inside. Yeah, he did it. He actually was able to make that pass. And then Herron comes up there, and Luke Power is the man on the move at the moment. So Luke Power was the only other rider in the 237s the last time through. When we look at the times right now, Greg, he was 4.3 seconds behind the leader. The thing that I'm curious to see is if Luke Power gets himself up into second, does he start to drag these other two guys along with him? Ty Scott now has somebody between him and the guy he's chasing in the championship. So he doesn't want to give up too many more points to Herron. And you can see there goes Farrell through. There goes Herron looking at the split times.
These are next generation GSXR 750s, meaning that there are now been added throttle-by-wire system. The motors have to be stock. So Luke Power aboard his 3D Motorsports LLC GSXR and the Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki, very evenly matched machines in terms of power, because next generation bikes are regulated by the FIM and MotoAmerica in terms of how much power they can deliver. And of course, there's electronics on this bike that allow them to control that, as well as Josh Herron's V2. But Jason Farrell, on one of the older inline 4-cylinders, he builds that bike to MotoAmerica specs, and he's having his way. Oh, Ty Scott.
He was in deep. He was in kind of no man's land there for a minute. You know, the first part of this, the first two sectors of this lap, they had gained almost a full, maybe 6/10 had Josh Herron gained on Farrell. Farrell opened it up by a 1/10 in the second split, and they're kind of the same in the third split. But Luke Power is now in a position to draft this Ducati up the front straight. Don't put anything past him. They can still see Farrell there. And Luke Power is going to go by Herron on the left-hand side of the track here. He got another tremendous drive out of that corner. And I don't think Herron's going to be too upset to see Luke Power try to chase down Jason Farrell at the front.
Pretty evenly matched, those two motorcycles, and Herron's going to have the advantage. So Luke Power had a good run on Josh, but right when they got to the top of that hill, as Luke Power goes 2:36.579, so far the fastest lap of the race, I think Power's looking for a way around Herron. Herron's going to be awfully difficult to pass as they head off into turn number 5. Power trying to get a good drive. Look at the Ducati come off the corner.
Really nice there by Herron, and you think about it, he's got two teenagers, and I don't know what just happened there, but man, almost that was really strange, because Josh got such a great drive out of there, and you can see now Ty Scott just up to the right of him. But I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing for these two guys to follow Luke Power. He seems like he's got some pace. He wants to try to put the hammer down and go chasing after Farrell. I was going to make mention that Herron's in a mix of a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old.
He certainly is. And no electronic aids on that Ducati Panigale V2. So all the traction control that you want is all in the right wrist of Josh Herron, and maybe controlling it also with the rear brake. So it could have, been one of those situations where spinning up.
Yeah.
That's why I bring it up, because it might have been that situation where he was shifting, got into that torque curve, and with these reduced traction conditions with the water on the racetrack, that might have spun up, and that allowed Power to get a good drive on him. Nonetheless, Jason Farrell leads by 2.8 seconds. Luke Power around Josh Herron, now trying to set sail for the number 85, the local hero out of Oshkosh. Trying to close the gap and win his first here in MotoAmerica Supersport competition. But Farrell has had his way with about 3.5 laps to go in race number 2 in Supersport. The gap 2.7. Power not scared to go through that puddle. Keep a little cooler temperatures in his Dunlop rain tires. So Farrell's within sight, Jay.
Yeah, he is, but he's doing a nice job of controlling it. He's 2.8 seconds up the road. He just ran the fastest third split of the entire race. Luke Power had ran the fastest split in the second sector of the race. Luke Power is the man on the move. I think he's got a big enough gap now on Herron where he won't have to worry about dealing with Josh down into turn number 1. As you can see them going through that last corner there, Ty Scott and Herron will be locked into their little battle for third. But right now, Luke Power with 2 laps to go. Let's see the deficit he's going to have to make up as Farrell goes across at a 2:36.2 compared to a 2:36.8. Farrell opens it up to 3.4 seconds. I just think it's going to be a little bit too much, Greg, over the next 2 laps for these 3 to try to catch up.
Jason Farrell doing a great job of managing his pit board, his team giving him good information. And so Farrell.
3 to go, Greg. Sorry.
Yeah, 3 to go. Yeah, Farrell trying to pull the trigger. 2:36.2. So all that work for Luke Power to get around his competitors and to see Jason Farrell sailing off into the distance. In terms of the championship, we mentioned it before, Farrell here at this event, but not locked in a championship battle. It's Josh Herrin who's 36 points ahead of Ty Scott. And where does Luke Power fit into this equation?
Ty Scott goes up underneath Herrin as they get down into turn 5. Sorry about that, Greg. And you can see now Ty Scott has to try to beat Herrin in these races to try to chip away at that point total. And he was able to outbreak Herrin as they went down into turn number 5. He still has his sights set on going after Luke Power as well.
They've closed the gap on Power.
Yeah, they have closed the gap.
So he opened it up, but Luke Power 68 points behind Herrin in this championship.
Oh, Herrin goes back up underneath him as they go into turn 8 and runs him straight, Greg.
Oh, boy.
Herrin just ran straight there. Couldn't get his bike stopped and turned. Gets up underneath Ty Scott there. Now they've created a gap there to Luke Power. But Herrin, oh, Ty Scott goes down.
No.
Oh.
So a mistake by yesterday's race winner on that Vision Wheel M4 XR Suzuki.
Not good.
He's trying. He knows that he can ride it without fairings if it's rideable, but it doesn't look like it's in any shape for us.
Oh, man. That's the first time I've seen Jason Farrell look back, and right now he's just running these clean laps, making these guys have to go faster to catch up. You kind of wonder. Herrin went up underneath the inside of him in turn 8, and then Ty Scott crashes in the carousel. So
Jason Farrell, who finished 13th, scoring 3 points in the race yesterday, trying to capitalize
it's such
and get
a
a max
shame for this guy. Such a bummer.
Great talent. Career just started in Supersport. A mistake. Josh Herrin's gonna find out when he comes across the line that his rival in this championship early on in the season is out of this one.
Farrell is gone. He is literally just making this bigger gap bigger again, and you can see as Ty Scott goes in, he loses the rear of the bike all the way around, spins him all the way off the bike, and that bike's going to start to flip, Greg.
Ugh. That's a tough one for the team. That Vision Wheel M4 XR Suzuki. As long as their rider's okay, that's the first thought, and of course,
it's the main thing.
Yeah. Their airbags deploy in Ty Scott's suit. If you're new to motorcycle road racing, these suits, some of these suits for the top riders equipped with airbags that help protect the rider in the upper body and midsection. And so that did its job, but that was a total yard sale on that GSXR 750. But it's all about this guy right now, the local hero, Jason Farrell.
Yeah, I can't say enough. What a perfect ride he has given. And now, you know, Greg, it's like he's gotten through the hard part of the race, I feel. He's been able to see his gap continue to grow. 4.5 seconds. He can control the pace however he wants now. And he's realized that even if he hasn't put a perfect lap in, he keeps on stretching the lead out. A little further back, Greg, Chad Lewin in 4th place. If anything should happen to any of our 3 leaders, Chad Lewin in 4th, Benjamin Smith 5th, Mesa 6th, Perez 7th. You can see there Nassani, Almeida, and Saltiz are going to round out your top 10. There's a couple guys here putting in some good rides behind these 3. Of course, they're going to be overshadowed by the 85 coming in and winning his home race if he's able to keep it up for another lap and a half.
Let's talk about that for a second, Jason. We go to a lot of different racetracks around this country, and every one of those racetracks that we go to, maybe barring WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, there's local races, club races that happen at those. And there's always that chatter of the fast guy at the local races versus the fast guys in MotoAmerica. And Jason Farrell right now is putting a stamp on being a fast rider at a local track, and he's schooling the MotoAmerica racers on how to get around this racetrack in these inclement conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good story. It really is. And it's gone on forever when we've talked about local riders doing well. I'm sure Herrin's looked back and seen that Ty Scott is gone as he has another look over his shoulder. His points lead is going to increase. But getting back to Farrell, yeah, there was times long time ago, Greg, where you would go to a lot of races and you'd end up having 3 or 4 fast 5 local riders, and it's been a long time. I can't remember one when we've seen a local rider win or do well at their home race, as has Jason Farrell today. He's going to come across right now, see the white flag, see +5 on his board, and probably just freak out, not even knowing what's going on right now. He's rode flawlessly, though, and that is the best feeling he could possibly have, to look over his shoulder, see nobody there. Does a lot of track days up in this area. Incredible mechanic, does a lot of work on people's motorcycles and such. That white flag is going to look great for him, as you can see here. Chad Lewin has gone down out of 4th place. Oh, that is such a bummer for Chad. trying to look and see where that even is, Greg, where he could have tipped off at.
So that is a shame for Chad Lewin, who is in 4th place. But this guy, riding the tracks around here on April 26th. Well, I'm going to back that one out, actually. So for Jason Farrell, as we get into race season here in this part of the country, coming to this MotoAmerica race, he's raced on and off with AMA series over the years, Jason, and has done really well. And Farrell again with another fastest lap of the race. A 2-minute 35.7.
Yeah, so it's definitely getting dry. There's going to be a number of our Superbike riders really paying attention to this race to see if it's going to be slicks or rains for them later. As you can see here, Herron's fallen back to 3rd, and you can quite a ways behind Luke Power. So Herron's in full championship mode. Smart move, as you can see. This is down in Canada Corner. Is this going to be on the exit, Greg, or is he losing? He's going to lose it on the exit. Oh man, that is a big high side for Chad. Man, he did not deserve that. He was riding so well up there ahead of Benjamin Smith and Mesa and them, and he needed a result. Chad did today, so that's a shame to see that happen. But again, Jason Farrell, story of this race, story of the day so far, going through the carousel. He's got about a full carousel lead on these guys now, Greg.
Yeah, he certainly does. And what a story.
Unreal.
And it's not that he's pushing to 235.7. He doesn't need to. I think it's just more of comfort. Yeah,
100%
as you're talking about it trying out.
And he led the warm-up this morning by, I think, 2 or 3 seconds. So you got to think to yourself, you know, he's been on Kawasaki's for a lot of years. We've seen him down at Daytona for a number of years trying to win the Daytona 200. And a very successful local rider and club-level rider. So at this stage, now he's just got to bring it home. Rolls on the gas up here. He'll probably have one more little look over his shoulder when he comes out of that last corner in disbelief. As he gets through turn 13, nice and safe, Greg. I'll let you bring him home, but really nice effort for Jason Farrell today.
So Jason Farrell, who began his road racing career all the way back in 1994, coming onto the front straightaway with a wheel in the air. Oshkosh, Wisconsin's pride and joy at MotoAmerica in his home race in front of his home fans. A wheelie to win Supersport race number 2, and he comes across the stripe taking the checkered flag. And here comes the young Australian Luke Power, who tries to do a stand-up wheelie himself. 3-4 efforts, but he'll come across the stripe in 2nd and stand on the podium. And Josh Herron maximizing his points haul with 16 over his competitors in this championship. But it's all about this guy, Jason Farrell, who began racing motorcycles at the age of 4, and in his young career was dirt tracker and ice racer, and now MotoAmerica's Supersport race winner. What a ride for Farrell.
Unreal. And I mean, Greg, his last lap, he backed it off 3 seconds and still won by 9.9 seconds. So that's pretty impressive. And, you know, you can't take anything away from him. This is going to feel especially great, you know, here in Wisconsin. And like I said, he's probably got a lot of people that have supported him through the years.
And it'll be a boost for his business. Yeah, without question. I mean, you know, Farrell Performance, he owns it. He builds motorcycles around here. He puts a lot of fast motorcycles under local riders in the region and has for years, even at the pro level. And so Farrell, not only proven he builds good motorcycles, but that he's still got a tremendous amount of speed.
Yeah, and you look at Luke Power. Wow, what a tremendous job. So good to see that young man put it on the podium from Australia. And we're going to have a look at some of the passes that we saw here as far as passes for the lead and 2nd and 3rd. And I mean, look, when you look at them come out of here, the first lap, Farrell had to measure these guys right off the bat to right around the outside of Ty Scott, going down into the chicane. And it was only a matter of time before he was going to get by Herron. And, you know, when you're in Farrell's position, he realized these guys are running for a championship, and he raced these guys incredibly clean. Gets past Herron coming out of Canada Corner. Herron went back by him. He eventually got back by him again, and again they swapped until Farrell made this real big decision-making pass out of turn 8 when Herron got in there a little deep. And Farrell just started putting his head down and running laps, what, Greg, second and a half quicker, and opened up this big gap.
A lot of confidence for Farrell. He is absolutely pumped. But Jason, also really tip of the cap to Josh Herron, who didn't get to warm up this morning with those rain tires. And he said that he was going to play it out in this race, and it was a very veteran and heads-up move for Josh Herrin to be able to finish third and not push the issue and end up in the gravel trap.
Yeah, very, very smart race for Herrin and increasing his points gap, and he was tied with Ty Scott today, who doesn't finish, and Greg, Rocco Landers, sadly, who he's also was tied with Ty Scott at 36 points back, ends up 15th, only gets a point out of today. So when you look at Josh Herrin, he's got over a 50-point lead now, I believe, as we leave Road America. So it's a big points day for Herrin, big points weekend for him. Even though he wasn't able to win a race, he might circle this one on the week as a weekend that really helped propel him to this championship.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, by my quick calculations, it could be a 51-point lead, I think, over Rocco Landers, who might have as a 1-point lead over Ty Scott in this championship. When we step away, you don't want to miss this interview with Jason Farrell. He's going to have a big smile on his face when we return.
Robbie Floyd and Roger Hayden here with you. The completion of the Supersport race here on this final day of the MotoAmerica Championship at Road America. Congratulations to Jason Farrell. Farrell had the performance today. But Roger, let's talk about some of the race that are in the race, what happened a little bit earlier with Ty Scott as well as Josh Herrin. And things got a little bumpy, pushy.
Yeah, Josh definitely got in there deep and kind of forced Tyler off there. And I think maybe, look at that. See right here, like he got in and couldn't make the corner.
He held him extremely wide.
And I think personally, Tyler was like, okay, I'm going to pay you back. And made that mistake.
Pushed a little bit too hard then. So, yeah, and it didn't take very long because, yeah, I think he was angry. What do you call it, the red mist?
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what happened, but, you know, a lot of times when somebody does this to you on the track, you want to return the favor.
Look at how far away that Josh was out of that racing line that time. And you know, as a racer, you just want to keep that guy to your outside. But when you're that far off the line, you're not thinking about the race. You're thinking about just that guy.
And previously, a couple laps, Josh lost the lead in that corner, too. It looked like he was having trouble getting it stopped. You know, getting into that corner. I'm not sure if that's what happened again or what. But when he lost the lead, it was because he got in there too deep and couldn't make the corner. So, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. We haven't seen Tyler Scott. And I was thinking as that race was going on about Tyler Scott, how good he looked in these tricky conditions, not pushing the issue.
Let's talk about Luke Power. What a run by him. And I pointed it out yesterday. You look at his progression through this series. 8th, 7th, 6th, 4th. I said he was due for a podium in 3rd. He skipped 3rd and went straight to 2nd. He had that one miss at VIR. You had to feel happy for him. And look at Jason Farrell. This is a historic day for him, something you always want to do at your home race, and he actually did it.
Well, not only that, I mean, Jason Farrell was racing, you know, when I first started racing here. So, I mean, he's been racing for a long time. He puts a lot of time and effort into it. This is his home track, and I'm sure that cool-down lap, he probably went as slow as possible so it could last as long. But, you know, all that hard work and stuff finally paid off, and it's cool to see a guy come here and get that win.
And there is Luke Power's bike, and again, skipping 3rd place altogether, jumping up to 2nd, and he might have had the pace if he was up there at the very, very first, but it looked like he was kind of hanging back in 4th, and what a run. I mean, that was a solid all-around ride for him, and he's a young gun, making his presence known pretty quick in MotoAmerica.
Yeah, and about mid-race, it kind of looked like he was, you know, was a little bit quicker and was going to make up some ground. One lap, he was a 2nd half quicker, and then Jason Farrell picked up the pace, and then I think Luke knew then, hey, let's not force the issue. Let's you know, try to get this 2nd place, get our first podium, and move on.
Yeah, let's bring it home and bring it home safe. The 68, a solid run for Mr. Power. But Jason Farrell, what a run by him, and doing it at the home track.
MotoAmerica Supersport coverage is sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Well, this is Jason Farrell coming in to his crew. Can you imagine what that feels like for Jason Farrell and the big victory?
For as long as he's been doing it,
yeah,
it's got to just be the most incredible feeling ever for him. And it's going to be widely popular in this area for sure.
So for Jason Farrell and Farrell Performance, really put a stamp on this one, showing everybody the way around the racetrack. And Jay, it can't be stated more that with the surface, the age of the surface here, it's getting repaved in October, that really this track knowledge, local knowledge of where the grip is critical.
Yeah, take nothing away from him though, Greg. It's not like they race a lot up here as far as club racing goes. And it's the guy he had the measure here. He had a great feel with his bike. He's obviously got setups right on and correct on what he likes as far as riding in the wet. He had a lot of confidence. How about this guy, Luke Power? I heard him say hi to his mom there. And another tremendous ride. Very unlikely first and second on the day. I don't think anybody would have expected that, but you see it here. Farrell wins by 9.9 seconds over Power and Heron, who went into full championship mode at the end with Ben Smith, Mesa, Perez, Nassani, Almeida, and Saltese. Ends up 9th. Justin Jones ended up finishing the top 10 to round out that top 10.
Let's get right down to Hannah. Our winner, Jason Farrell, getting it done. The local boy, the local hero.
A first Supersport podium and a victory at that. Jason, what a race. What gave you the confidence to pull a gap in the way that you just did, almost a 10-second margin of victory?
Yeah, I didn't know it was 10 seconds, but you just told me now. But yeah, I've got a lot of miles around this place. This is my home track. I live about 45 minutes away, so I've been racing here since '95 when I was an amateur. And I've been dreaming to be on the podium. Just a podium at all, I would just be happy with a third. And to come here with a win, that's unbelievable. So, I wasn't going to race. I had pretty bad crashes last year, had some bad times, and my wife, Jessica, really put it all together for me. So, hats off to her. So, she gave me the confidence to believe in myself. I'm 46 years old. And to get up on the podium is unbelievable. And my crew, Larry and his kid Larry, is their first time here. They did an unbelievable job on this bike. The other guys are working really hard as well. I crashed this morning. If you saw my knee right now, you wouldn't think I'd be riding. The whole thing's purple from my calf all the way up to here. So I hit the curb on Friday morning, and I thought I was going to be out. So we just kept struggling along and pushed through the pain, and so here we are. And in 1,000, I just crashed the last time I was out going to the carousel. We got the bike back together. I'm in the next race as well. Yesterday I did 3 races in a row, so it's been a long weekend, and it was the coolest thing. I tell all the fans, my home track, going around this track and seeing everybody on the side of the fence cheering me on during the race, and then at the end of the race, it's quite emotional for me. So. I came here since I was 1980 with my dad racing, and it's just quite something to be on the podium finally. So I feel like I've really accomplished a milestone that I wanted to do with my life. So thank you.
It's been a really long journey for you, as you just mentioned. How much does it mean to you to be able to do this at your home track, knowing that this is a privateer effort, that you've had such a hand in the building of this motorcycle?
Yeah, my wife and I and my crew, everybody, we worked so hard. This bike was a frame a week ago, and we put this thing together. The rules are different from MotoAmerica, and we did everything, to the T and dotted the I's and make sure this bike was spot on, and everything worked out just unbelievable. All the sponsors, they came together, obviously Farrell Performance and Southeast Sales, Kawasaki, and Milwaukee. K-Tech Suspension, Lenny does an unbelievable job on our bikes. We've worked together for so long. Riot Helmets, I think those guys, 1X Leathers, Line to Line. We have so many sponsors. Hindle Exhaust Systems, EBC Brakes. This bike's just been unbelievable. Handles so good all weekend. We were a little bit slow out of the box, but yesterday, unfortunately, I crashed, and me and Ben got together, and I did the sportsman thing and picked his bike up for him, and then we took off again. So I felt bad about that. We just both got together as a racing incident. So I just wanted to go redeem myself today. And man, I want to thank all my friends and family for all coming out here. Thank you very much.
How does this boost your confidence heading into this next race here?
Well, I know what the track is like, but it looks like it's drying up, so I definitely know the conditions of the track, so hopefully we can go out there and have a good time on 1,000 too, and the Super Stock Cup.
Congratulations and best of luck. Today's race winner, Jason Farrell.
That is quite an interview.
Well, there's a couple things here. We got a Cowie winning, number one. Number 2, is he older than Josh Hayes? We've got 2 plus
46.
What's Josh, 46?
Josh,
45?
40.
We got a couple mid-40-year-olds winning races. That's pretty cool. And like you say, he's been coming here for so long. What a great story it is for him, and a lot of great questions by Hannah. Let's get it back down to her.
A new face in the MotoAmerica paddock atop the podium here today. Second place finish for you, Luke Power. Quite the race there. When I talked to you earlier, you didn't mention that you were a rain racer. You said it was okay, you didn't mind, but take me through that.
I didn't think I was a rain racer until today. It was an absolutely awesome race. I had a great time. Honestly, didn't expect to be up battling with likes of Scott and Heron, who were battling for the championship, and you know, I can't thank everyone at the 3D Motorsports team enough, along with Lenny from K-Tech. They set that bad boy up perfect for me, and you know, it's a shame. I thought I was closing a little bit in on Ferrell there at the end, but at that last lap I thought, oh, I just want to finish, just bring it home. So no, massive thank you to everyone that helps out, all my sponsors, Motorcycle Australia, LS2 helmets, 4SR leathers, Supersport boots, Pedal Mafia, Immort Australia, the Grinning Dingo, 64 Degree Racing, everyone that supports me. A huge shout out to Mike Boyce, along with Team Hammer and Altus as well, for helping get the 750 ready. You know, it's been a big task, but we finally got it here this weekend, and it's not a bad result for a first little shakedown of the bike, is it? So super stoked. Shout out to MotoAmerica. I'm absolutely loving the paddock here. Everyone's so nice. The fans are absolutely awesome out here. So, you know, it's absolutely brilliant. I'm having a great time. And lastly, I'd like to say a shout out to my mum and dad. You know, I know it hasn't been easy shipping your son over here, and especially when he's as crazy as I am. So shout out to you guys. This one's for you. I love you guys.
Now, with so many factors kind of working against you this weekend, being a new track, the weather conditions, a new team you're still really getting familiar with, and then being over here in the States by yourself, all of those things kind of came together. What was it that was just really working for you today?
I don't know. I think it might have been Dustin's pep talk at the start of the race. I don't know. Honestly, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, 600 wet riding hasn't been my strength. And then, I don't know, at the start of this year in Australia, something clicked, and I came over here, and today the whole team was behind me. It was a great atmosphere, and yeah, I think just as the race went on, I got more and more confident, and just kept pushing a little bit more, and yeah, but I didn't really have any moments, to be perfectly honest with you. The K-Tech suspension was working awesome, so I have no complaints in that regard. I'm just happy that I managed to finish the race. Those last 2 laps were the most nerve-wracking of my life. I've never had butterflies like that when I've been riding, so yeah, I'm super happy.
Now, I know you haven't been to a lot of the U.S. tracks, or any of them actually, but is there anything on our schedule that you're really looking forward to checking out?
Obviously Laguna. I mean, that has to be a rider's favorite, doesn't it? It's a MotoGP track that's on the MotoAmerica calendar, so obviously I'm looking forward to that, but I'm not going to lie, I really like this place. It's pretty cool.
Thank you, Luke Power, up-and-coming star in MotoAmerica Supersport, guys.
Safe to say, easy to say, Road America is his favorite so far, JP.
Well, it's a favorite of everybody, Luke, and I think that you're going to like Laguna when you get there. There's some other ones that you might like along the way as well, and to stamp your name in the books here this early in the season, especially on a new bike, is really incredible.
Let's get back down to Hannah.
Third place today goes to our championship points leader, Josh Herron. Josh, some unexpected rivals out there. You know, take me through the start of that race. It was a different one for you today.
Yeah, it was super nervous going into it, just because this morning we didn't have enough tire stickers to run a rain. So we didn't get to run practice this morning, so I have 0 time on this bike in the rain, which is scary. Ducatis are notoriously good in the rain. We just, I think we're a little bit too soft on the setup. I usually like to have a really soft setup bike in the rain, but I think it was a little too soft for how dry the track was. So unfortunately we weren't able to go faster, but I'm super happy to get out of here with some solid points. Happy to be on the podium 2 times this weekend. We knew coming into this weekend that it might be a hard track for us just with the power disadvantage, but you know, if we're able to walk out of here with a 2nd and 3rd, I'm really happy. Go into the next couple rounds, a lot of tight tracks where I think we should have an advantage over everybody else. And yeah, just got to give a shout out to the whole HSBK Warhorse Racing Ducati New York team. Thank you to my sponsors, Fresh and Lean, OnlyFans, Black Claw, Alpine Stars, Arai Helmets, Cardo, everybody that's behind us throughout the season. Just looking forward to having a lot of fun at the next couple rounds.
Thanks, Josh. Congrats.
Well, I mean, I think he said it all, Jason, really. I mean, it was a tense race at the beginning, and he did the right thing. I mean, finishing on the podium is great, but it's really more for the long term about those points.
Yeah, there's no question about it. The 2 guys in front of him aren't really close to him in points. Obviously, Luke Power would like to change that. He's a mainstay in our championship, but you can't take anything away from Jason Farrell today. I mean, it was kind of one of those victories that are kind of storybook, and I don't even know if he'll make the Superbike race now, but yeah, hats off to the 85.
Yeah, so that'll be really the question. I mean, especially because he's saying he's hurting so much. It's almost like you just want to go back to the trailer.
Go enjoy your victory.
Go enjoy your victory. And this is what the podium celebrations look like as Josh Herron makes his way to 3rd spot on the podium. Then it'll be Luke Power and, of course, Jason Farrell. All right, so this is the thing we're looking at. As we get close to the midpoint of the season, Josh Herron with 51 points over Rocco Landers and 52 over Tyler Scott, who had an early exit in this race, didn't get the finish and score any points. Lockoff with 58.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the most consistent rider is Herron right now, and unfortunately we saw Tyler drop off today, and Rocco just didn't have the result that we normally would expect from him. So there's some things there that have made this 51-point lead what it is, but you'd expect that out of the veteran there. And you can see a little further back, Diego Perez in the top 10 there. Farrell jumps all the way up to 12th.
Let's get down to Hannah, who has our 4th place finisher, Benjamin Smith, who had a good run today. Hannah?
Greg, it has been quite an up and down weekend for Benjamin Smith. A bit of bad luck, but a really good result today. Take me through, what was really working for you out there that allowed you to get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, the bike put a great, team put a great bike under me. Felt good in the rain, and I've had some not so good look in the past in the rain, so I was really happy with how the race ended up today after yesterday's misfortune. So some solid points for the season.
Now, looking ahead to some of these tracks, you do have a lot of data from last year to refer to it as the same team and same motorcycle. How does that kind of change your approach moving forward?
I'm as confident as can be. I know that I have the speed. I mean, we were up front this weekend. Like I said, yesterday was a little bit of a misfortune in the dry, and we qualified 3rd, so we know that we've got the speed. So I'm just going to keep plugging away and keep at it, and I know that we can be up here, so I'm happy with it.
We've certainly seen that you have the pace to be on the podium with these guys. What is it going to take for you to just get to that next level?
Just put a race together, just get a decent start. I mean, I got an okay start in today's race, so I still need to work on those, but if I can get off the line and if I can stay in those guys' draft, I mean, I know that I can be there. My bike handle is great. Like I said, couldn't ask for a better program, so, I just got to make it happen.
4th place finish today for Benjamin Smith.
All right, and for Benjamin Smith in the offseason, he actually had arm pump surgery as well, Jason, and that was one of the things that held him back last year. So that's another tool in his toolbox that he doesn't have to worry about.
I'll tell you, I really rate Benjamin Smith. I do, and I think what he said, he's just got to get it all put together. And really, that's what it is. I've talked to his team, talked with his dad, and the people that he's got. He's got a great program, and it's just there's always something missing every race, just one little thing. And, today with that wet weather ride, that might be the thing that gets his confidence going. He's not a guy that needs to really get in their draft. He's the kind of guy that can set the pace. So we'll just see how moving forward Benjamin gets on at the next couple rounds.
Well, that'll do it from Road-America for Supersport as Josh Herron came in with a 31-point lead. He leaves with a 51-point lead. We're going to do it again at the Ridge, June 24th to the 26th. We certainly hope you'll join us. For Hannah Lopen, Jason Pridmore, and all of our crew, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for Supersport, Road-America.
Welcome to the opening ceremonies of the